So today I'm going to be talking about the second book that I ever read, and one of my favorite books actually, which is The Little Prince by Anthony Saint-Exupéry. I love this book. It looks like a kid's book, but it's actually not. This to me is sort of like a mix of a fable and I don't know, like a novella fable thingy. It has a lot of different elements, and I think that's why I like it the most. This book, the main character is the little prince. He goes on an adventure around different planets, and he ends up landing on planet Earth, which is where he meets the narrator of this book. The narrator is a pilot. He's an older man. He's not like an elderly, but he's like, 30 something, I guess. And when he meets the little prince, he's first like, what are you doing on the desert? And second of all, like, what? And the little prince is just like, can you draw me a sheep? And the other's like, what? So the little prince is like, can you draw me a sheep? I need a sheep for when I go back to my planet. And the author tries to draw one, and the little prince is like, no, this is too old. And then he draws another, and he's like, no, this one's too young. And this one's too sick. So finally, the author is like, you know what? And he draws a box, and he gives it to the little prince, and he's like, here's your sheep. And he's like, wow, this is just what I wanted. Which just let us know, like, the innocence and, like, the imaginativeness of their minds, which I think is pretty cute. Then the little prince starts narrating to the narrator how he ended up in the middle of the Sahara Desert. He tells him that he has a little planet where he has two volcanoes and he has to clean, and he loves sunsets, right? Because his planet's quite small, so he gets to see a lot of sunsets. And how he traveled to other little planets. He travels, I think, to a total of 5 or 6. First, he goes to a king, and the king, he just wants to give orders. He's just like, adults. Then he goes to another planet where there's a conceited person, which I'm just gonna call vanidoso, who just wants the little prince to give him attention and to clap for him. And the little prince is like, nah, that's too weird. Peace. He goes to another planet, where he finds a drunk man. And the little prince is like, why do you drink? And the guy's like, to forget. To forget about what? To forget that I'm ashamed. What are you ashamed of? Of drinking. And the little prince is like, what? So he's just like, that's weird. Like, if you're ashamed of that, why are you doing it? He then goes to another planet, which is the planet of a businessman. And the businessman is just counting all the stars. And he says that the stars belong to him. And the little prince is like, and what are you going to do with them? He's like, nothing. I'm going to make this paper with all their stars that I own, and then I'm going to put it in a vault. And he's just like, what are you going to do that for? Nobody knows, to be honest, but that's life. And then he goes to the planet of a geographer. Which I think the moral, there are like a lot of tiny stories with morals. That's why I'm saying this is sort of like a fable. And he goes to the planet of the geographer, and then he asks him, like, are there rivers, oceans, what's in this planet? He's like, I don't know, because I need explorers to tell me. I'm just going to write it. Which I just think it's how sometimes people, instead of like looking for things themselves, they let other people give it to them, which happens a lot. Good. Then he goes into another, like, very, very small planet where there's a lamplighter. And that planet is very small, so the sun sets every, 5 minutes. And the little prince is like, oh, then why are you turning it on and off if it's gonna be dark just for very little time? It's just like, because it's my job. And I guess that happens a lot of times where people do things that are not necessary just because they're a part of their jobs. But he ends up, I still have 1 minute. He ends up on planet Earth, and he is like, he finds first roses, and he feels betrayed because he has a rose in his planet, and that rose told him that she was the like one of a kind. That was it. No more roses but her. And he feels betrayed because she lied to him. Then he goes on and he meets a fox. And the fox tells him, like, you should domesticate me. And the little kid's like, okay, let's go play. He's like, no, wait. That's not how you do things. If you want to domesticate me, you have to come every day at the same time. You have to get closer to me little by little, and then I'm going to accept you, and I'm going to love you. And he does that. And then the little prince is like, I have to go. Because the little prince had exactly 1 year to go back to his planet so that the Earth would be on the same place for him to travel to space. And so he tells him, like, I have to go. And the little prince tells him, you're going to be sad. And the fox is like, yes, but I'm also going to be happy for all the things that I got to experience with you. And I think that's very important. Anyways, I don't have more time. So basically when that happens, we go back to when the little prince is in the desert. And at night, he tells the pilot, like, don't follow me, I'm going to go back. The pilot follows him and he tells him, like, you're going to be sad. And the author's like, yeah. But the little prince tells him, like, whenever you think of me, look at the stars and I'm going to be there. And if you want me to be happy, you're going to think about me laughing, and you're going to have thousands of little bells laughing. And then lightning strikes, the little prince falls back, and it looks like he's dead. And the author is very sad, so he holds the kid and he cries. And then in the morning, his body is not there anymore. So he's like, wow, he didn't die. He traveled to space. And so whenever he thinks about the little prince and he looks at the star, he hears a little laughter, but then sometimes he worries about him and he sees the little stars crying. And that's the end of this book. I hope you like my review. I know it's more than 6 minutes, but it's a lot of things in one book. So thank you, and I see you Friday.